Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the OS Talk. We've got a great interview lined up today to continue with our Tycho coverage throughout the month. We're actually going to be interviewing Tasha today. How you doing?
Not too bad, a little bit tired, but I'm here, so we'll see how it
All
goes.
right. And for those who might not know Tasha, although you probably should by this point, he is a team captain for Canada in the Tycho World Cup, and he's also been a very valiant commentator during the entire ordeal as well. And we've also have Deadbeat here with us as well. As always, how you doing, Deadbeat?
I'm really excited for this one.
All right. So we won't take too much time. We'll get right into the questions. And remember, guys, after the end of the interview, you will be able to ask any questions that you have for Tasha yourself. If for what, just make sure you send those to me, and I will get those to him. And if you want to speak, just ask for Talk Power. So without any further ado, let's get right into this. So the first question, Tasha, that we have for you is one that we give to everybody here. What brought you to OS?
Funny story. I actually was looking at some YouTube videos of Elite Beat Agents, just because I was interested in some of the scores that people might have gotten on some of the harder songs, like say Jumpin' Jack Flash or anything like that. And I ended up seeing some stuff that I knew wasn't from the Elite Beat Agent games, and found out that it was from a PC game called OS, which, you know, ended up joining, registering, all that stuff, and started playing for quite a while. I'd say about 7 months of playing. I started trying some of the other modes as well, like Tycho, which is my main mode, and I've been playing that since.
So, you know, quite a few people have actually found out about it from YouTube, but not as many people as you would think have actually known about it from its game that it was, you know, kind of based after. Even though it was based after more the Os Taka de Oendan, Elite Beat Agents was, you know, the westernization of that game. So, I mean, you know, it's tomato tomato with that.
Actually, just quickly, moving on to the second question, have you played any other rhythm games?
Yeah, I've actually played quite a few. I started off playing Dance Dance Revolution at a local arcade when I was younger. Followed that with learning about Stepmania. Then I learned about 2DX, started playing that, mostly on BMS simulators. Guitar Hero, Rock Band, I've played so many rhythm games, just a few of them I'd really like to play, but unfortunately not around here.
I think you're the first person to answer with that many games. Most people have only played like one or two, if not any.
Rhythm games have been a pretty big part of my gaming career, I guess you could say. That and real-time strategy games.
It sounds it. How did the DDR go? That's something I haven't played in a long time.
Well, it kept me active. I mean, that was really the only thing I really ended up playing. I ended up getting a console version on the Xbox after playing it at the arcade around our movie theater a little while. Played that for a decent amount of time.
I bet that one would keep you active.
So I gotta ask, what do you remember what DDR mix it was at the arcade?
I honestly can't say. I know it had Butterfly on it though, so it's it was one of the ones yeah.
I remember one of the main DDR cabinets I used to play a lot was Supernova, and they also had, well, it wasn't, because Supernova you can get on the PlayStation as well, but it was like a Supernova mix, and it had some songs that came from DDR third mix and Supernova kind of mixed in together, but that was one of the favorite cabinets I actually messed with.
Yeah, I really wish I knew which cabinet it was, which mix it was, because I'd like to probably end up getting that again. It was a lot of fun.
Alright, well, moving on to the next question here. What got you into Tycho? What made you decide to stick with that mode as your main mode?
I'd always kind of had an interest in trying some like drumming-based type games. I ended up trying it a little bit with Rock Band, but I didn't really like the way that the drum layout was. I kind of like the way they did it for like vertical scrolling games and whatnot, like for example in Drum Mania. Saw that there was a horizontal scrolling drum game, which was Tycho, and got a little bit interested in it when I started losing interest in Standard. and ended up running across a very helpful player named Fion that ended up showing me some difficulties I could improve with, and overall being very friendly to any questions I had about the mode. So I ended up learning a lot from him about the mode and just kind of stuck with it.
That name definitely rings a bell. Oh, I know this guy.
He does a lot of mapping for the Taiko, or he used to do a lot of mapping for the Taiko community. He's somebody from the Netherlands, I believe.
Yeah, it's Pheon.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I know the guy. I haven't seen that name in ages. Did he like leave or something, or?
He's been around. He just hasn't really been as active. But like for Fion, I just really enjoyed watching some of his flashlight hidden plays, because I hadn't really seen any players that were practicing it or really good at it. And I ended up meeting him in real life in Canada, and it was really amazing to watch him do that.
I think I know only one Taiko player who was decent at hidden flashlight. I think it was Rodiko?
Yeah, he was okay at it, yeah, too. He was pretty good at it.
Yeah, I think he was one of like the original guys who used to do that sort of stuff. I think people got a bit antsy about the whole thing when they found. I think you do what, using 2 screens or something like that.
Yeah, Rokodo's scores, I believe some of them might have been dual screened. At least I think he admitted that at one point. But I mean, they're still really hard to get, even with like something like that. And I mean, the only player I know that doesn't do it is Fion, and that's only because I've seen him do it without having any kind of second screen on a laptop.
Imagine it'd be really hard because you have to remember the whole map.
Yeah, it was a pretty long map too. So, Black Rose Apostle.
I don't know that one. Sorry.
I've actually seen you show me that one before. I think, to be quite honest, I might have actually been spectating Fion with you at one point.
I believe you might have been. Yeah, I remember at one point you were.
Yeah, that was nuts. It was that really, really long song too.
Yeah.
And like you couldn't see nothing coming. He had just had the entire thing memorized.
Yeah, he's got an insane amount of plays on that song.
So that kind of brings us to our next question here. Have you ever wanted to, or have you played with the actual, like, authentic Taiko drum controller?
No, I have not, and I really should get around to doing that. The only reason I haven't actively considered it is because I don't have a Bluetooth device on my computer to like connect the Titacon controller with, because you need like one of those the Wii ones. Mm-hmm. I think there's a USB converter now or something that somebody's making, so I was kind of interested in that, but unfortunately it's not really released yet.
There was actually a recent changelog to add Wiimote support for Taiko.
Yeah, I saw that. They actually already had Titacon support, but they didn't have Wiimote itself, so now like, it supports like the up and down buttons and the 1 and 2 buttons, if I remember correctly.
Up, down, 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how hard that would be to play, because I can't not remember the layout for Wiimote.
Yeah, I can't really imagine doing that myself, honestly.
I imagine you probably break the Wiimote before you actually get anywhere.
Or at least the D-pad.
Yeah.
The D-pads on those things weren't very reliable, but I mean, I used to play on the Taiko Wii 3 with the classic controller and do pretty well.
Well, the classic controller was pretty good, though.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
I've only ever played with the keyboard, so I really wouldn't know, sorry.
Nah, it's cool. So, when about did you start trying the DDKK style instead of, you know, the authentic layout, which is KDDK?
Honestly, I switched really early into playing. Like, after 2 months of playing with the authentic playstyle, I started messing around with the key inputs, and I tried a few different ones. I tried DKDK for a little while. I ended up finding that just confused me even more because it was too similar to authentic. Then I decided, you know, I played a lot of like Stepmania, and it kind of feels like it'd be a lot easier if I could just kind of split it visually in my mind, the one lane into like 2 different lanes, just with color coding. And so I ended up doing that and just had my ZX keys be my red keys or my dons, and my C and V keys be my cats or my blues. And yeah, that was about 2 months into first starting.
So that brings us to the next question. Why? Why did you switch?
Well, I kind of sort of answered that while
you
we
did
were
kind of
going
sort of
into it.
answer that, but my bad.
But no, it's okay. There's actually a bit more to it. I ended up seeing another player that played with that playstyle as well. His name was Nubita, and it was a player from Israel, and he was the only other player I knew at the time that played with that playstyle, and he had really insane scores. So I thought, hey, you know, I can get that good too, maybe. So I started like practicing with that playstyle.
Let's see.
I think it's safe to say you got that good.
I'd still say he's a little bit better than me, but I feel like I've caught up a little bit, yeah.
Well, you are smashing at some of those records, so. We were talking about it on the recap, how one of the maps is really hard to hard rock, and yet your record was like 98% hard rock, so.
Sometimes I just get good scores. I feel like some of them I got a little bit lucky on, just accuracy-wise, but I think, you know, I generally do okay for myself scoring-wise.
Now speaking of that, like, because you play a lot of mods, which do you prefer, hidden or hard rock?
I'm one of the few players that's kind of impartial on it. I don't care which one I play. When I'm playing with double time, I prefer to have hidden. That's about the only exception. I don't really like playing double time and hard rock because I find the accuracy requirements are a little bit too high. But when it comes to just playing flat hidden or flat hard rock, I don't really have a preference. I guess I could say hidden on the higher scrolling speed maps and hard rock on the lower scrolling speed maps, if I was to say or give an option there.
So yeah, I suppose it would just depend on the map. That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah,
I suppose playing hidden on the slower scroll speeds is just a nightmare.
Yeah,
like Battle of Road style.
Oh, I was about to bring up a different map, but I don't know. Maybe I should just leave that one alone.
Well, I guess a good way to compare it, like in standard, would be like try playing like some low approach rate map with hidden compared to playing it with hard rock. That's how it kind of feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem to make sense. But what about if it was like kind of even, like it was a good scroll speed with like a decent accuracy? Which would you lean towards then?
That one generally comes down to how high the overall difficulty of the map is, or if there's a higher scoring potential for hard rock on maps that have spinners. So again, it really comes down to what scores best or what I feel more comfortable with at the time on that song. So I don't really have any real preference.
So many variables.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. That's probably why Hades in the Heaven wasn't played so much, because of the slow scroll speed on hidden.
Yeah, that's definitely why the team that we played against banned it, and most teams ended up banning it. We actually didn't ban it because we were expecting that they were going to.
Man. Anyway, so what got you interested in beatmap modding?
I wanted to help people make better Tycho maps. I felt like I had a little bit of knowledge in making some good ones, so I started looking at other people's maps in the beatmap forum and just giving little bits of advice and whatnot that I felt could help them improve their maps, and that was really it. I didn't have any real reason. I just saw, hey, I can probably help these people make their maps better.
Now, I actually correct, you were also one of the first Tycho bats.
Yeah, I was.
How was that?
It was interesting. I was probably one of the lowest KD people that ever been on the team that I know of. There's a few people that had a bit lower, but I didn't have very much kudos when I joined, so it was still a relatively new experience for me. But I felt I did pretty good while I was there. I did have a period of inactivity before I did end up leaving the team, but other than that, I felt I helped a lot of people with their maps.
It must have been pretty cool to be like one of like the first to be a Tycho bat.
Well, I mean, there was some people that were experienced in the mode. Like, for example, Garvin knew a little bit about the mode, and you had, I believe, Mittens as well. MMZZ, I believe he goes by now. He is pretty experienced in it, but he also modded Standard at the time, so he was part of the BAT.
Yeah, there've been a few pretty good Tycho bats from what I hear. It's quite good that the all four game modes got their own bats. That was definitely a good change.
Yeah, it's not really the same anymore. I mean, the QAT, yeah, they're still split, but the beatmap group is a little bit different because, you know, there's no specialization there, or at least with the new changes.
Yeah, it's definitely a more interesting change. I'm not exactly sure how well it's paying off, but it's definitely a more interesting change.
Well, I got in trouble talking about that before, so I generally just stay out of it and see how it turns out. I'm interested to see how if it gets better or worse from where it is now.
Yeah, that's basically the best way to look at it. Like I've tried to explain to people, and I even kind of got on a big spiel in Mod Help a couple days ago, actually. This whole thing's kind of like a beta test, guys. I mean, yeah, a lot of people like all these changes, this, that, and the other, but I mean, it's stuff like we're trying to make an overall improvement, and there's gonna be rocky roads, and there's gonna be stuff that don't work right. But what you can do as modders and mappers alike is when you see one of these things and you feel that it's absolutely not right, just give valid reason and put forward towards that, and I think that'll go a whole lot longer and a whole lot further than just, you know, going, oh, this is crap, or yelling and screaming about it. That's just a little tangent on like the whole grand scope of things. You know, it's still a work in progress with the new system.
No, you explained it a lot better than I could have, so I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
He's had to do it a bit more than you have, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, I kind of mediate quite a bit. I might not be really active in the beatmap forums as much, but like when you see big fights over that, just a couple days ago, I had to. I'm not going to go into names or anything because I don't want to discredit anybody or make them feel like I'm singling them out. But I tried to, you know, open some light on something. One of them, the members of the QAT had, you know, popped over some suggestive things, but I mean, it turns out there was quite a few things that weren't really that great. I still really didn't agree with their end-all decision towards some of the things, but I did at least give my 2 cents and pointed what I tried to show that was, whether it was actually hurting gameplay or if it was more just preference. And if you can prove, and not just go, well, I like it this way, but if you can prove it, they're usually pretty reasonable about, you know, going, okay, I could see where you're coming from, and I'll work with you on it, and we'll try to make this work. But other times, sometimes it's just not right, and you need to be the bigger person and accept that, you know, maybe I should change this, maybe it will make it better. And I think that's one of the biggest problems we're having with this system right now, is there's not nearly as enough communication as there should be. But getting off that tangent here, now you started playing in the Taiko World Cups quite a ways back, if I'm not mistaken, and you've kind of been in the competitive scene when it comes to the World Cups there for a while. What got you started in taking interest in wanting to take part in those?
I ended up watching Canada during one of the World Cups that was before I started playing. And I thought that maybe I can end up keeping up with these players after a bit of practicing over the year. So I ended up practicing a lot throughout that year, and just feeling like I was good enough that I could actually participate with Canada, and just started playing with them since then. We ended up forming, at the time, 2 different teams. We had a Canada A and a Canada B, and we went quite far for the first time I played. I was a little bit nervous when I first started playing because, you know, you're brand new to playing in the World Cups. You don't really know much about how much pressure you're going to be feeling when you're playing, and it just gets really, really stressful when you're starting a map and you're like, I have to perform really well.
Yeah, those nerves really get to you.
Like, after playing for a while now, I'm a bit more used to it, but still, when you're playing like a really hard song, or you know a really hard section is coming up, you can get really bad nerves and just mess up on something really simple.
See, I had the easy way out because I messed up on everything simple anyway, so for me it wasn't an issue.
I've actually had a few times during this tournament already where I've just had misses on parts that I almost never miss, or even in parts that are really slow, just like 1/1 timing notes. I ended up missing once while I was looking at a note and I thought, hey, that's a dawn, and it's like it's a blue note coming my way. I'm like, oh crap, and then I just kind of pressed red when it was blue, and then I missed the note, and I'm like, crap.
You had a brain fart and messed up pretty much.
Yeah, but a lot of it's just, like I said, from the pressure. You're trying to be so focused, and that sometimes can backfire on you.
I know how that is. Like I was saying earlier, before the talk, I was talking with one of the just users that comes in to pick up on these things, and I was talking about how I kind of set these mental blocks when playing maps, and it's like this place where you know you're gonna mess up, even though you've done patterns that are way harder and you've nailed them out super simple. If you get that in your head that is where you're gonna make a mistake, that's usually where you end up making a mistake, and it's a really tough habit to break.
So I don't think you actually said, but which was the first Taika World Cup you participated in?
Oh geez, I don't remember the year that I started playing in Taika World Cups. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it was in the 2012 World Cup.
Okay, well I feel bad because I actually got to go look that up, so I'm gonna quickly find this now.
All right.
And while he's looking that up, we could actually go over the last one before we get into the community questions here. So obviously, as people might have noticed, you've started doing the OS weekly installments, and some people would like to know what brought that on.
Well, I was looking for doing something to help like make the community a bit better. I wanted to help in any way I really could at the time. So I ended up picking up on that particular project just as a suggestion by somebody, and I've been working on it since. So I mean, that's just, I don't know, it's been kind of interesting because I've never really done anything like this before, so I'm still relatively new to it, but it's fun because I feel like I can, you know, inform everyone about like the tournaments they might not be seeing otherwise, because a lot of people don't tend to look at the tournament board or anything like that. I'm bringing a little bit more focus to that.
And I feel like I could go a little bit further on it, because I mean, I think you're doing an excellent job with it, and I really like to see it because, as you know, there for a while we've been, and it's been hinted about on the talks before, so it's not like this is anything new, but I feel like this is probably the closest I'm gonna get till I can like get resources together fully for it, for like a full on like news format thing, and I'm really appreciative that it actually happens, because like you said, it's a great way to inform people and let people know that stuff's going out, and I hope to not only help you with it but expand on it too. And I kind of answered the next section to that question, but because it was asking if you can expect any changes in additions, but I really hope that it will grow into something super awesome that people will, you know, look forward to every week.
Yeah, it would definitely be fun to have expand a little bit, just to have more things like maybe like videos or anything like that of bigger things that are going on in the community.
Yeah, bad Z-Truck. No answering the questions for the other people.
I can't help it. I feel like, you know, this is like I've said before, like during my interview itself, like my biggest thing, my one big dream for OS and everything with this community is just to bring it closer together and to let people know that they're not so different, because you see these clashing opinions all the time, but if you bring these people in one-on-one and talk with them and see why they feel that way, you usually find out the reasons why they're thinking it isn't too far off from like what you see with other things, and usually you guys can come to like an agreement on things, and before you know it, something that everybody was fighting over, they're now laughing about. It's because it's like, oh wow, I can't believe that we were getting upset over something so silly, or like some kind of misinformation that just leads into some terrible, huge, giant fight that could have been completely avoided if people would have just communicated a little bit more.
Okay, but you still shouldn't answer their questions.
I know. I'm bad. I'm sorry, Tasha.
Ran trot.
And the sad thing is, I don't think it's the first time you've done that either.
No, it's probably not.
It's okay. Z-Trot, we all appreciate it regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool, and it really, like, it makes me happy that you're doing that. I really appreciate it. I think you've been doing excellent work on it so far.
And I actually did want to thank you and Deadbeat for both helping me get everything like set up and just getting it more organized, because it has helped a lot.
Yeah, well...
Oh, just quickly, shameless plug, if you guys want to like suggest stuff for the weekly or whatever, you can email news@tby.sh with your suggestions and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Plugging!
We gotta do it. It's what we always do. But anyways, now it's that lovely time you guys have been waiting for. We're
Not
gonna
quite.
go ahead and... Not quite? You got one more?
No, Tasha started in the Tackle World Cup number 3.
Ah.
And
That was in
Canadian and
2013,
Canada Team
right?
A with Hipster 3000 and Kenny 388.
Dude, I remember Kenny.
I
Wait.
can't remember. Did we come in third or fourth during that? I don't remember anymore.
Oh, I have no idea. Let's see if I can get it.
I think we came fourth. Because I don't remember us getting third.
Wasn't that the World Cup where you were freaking out because Kenny didn't show up till like the last second?
No, that was the one. That was the following one. So that was the one that happened last year.
Oh, okay.
And Kenny ended up showing up late, and it was because of a time zone issue. He had the times an hour off, and then
Yeah,
we
you
didn't end up having our match, which kind of sucked.
Yeah, that's right.
You lost to you lost to Japan Team A in the bronze match.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was quite fun.
You're
Japan's just
also a commentator.
Yeah, I commentated a couple of the matches, not very many.
Oh man, Zekrai was one of the management staff back then. Oh, I take it back. That guy did so much.
I think Lepidopodus was also part of the staff then.
Yeah, he was one of the managers. I think that might be the last one he was in actually.
Yeah, I think after that it was mostly managed by Locktav. Regardless, Lepidopodus hype.
Oh,
God bless that man. He did so much. He really did.
Yeah, he was a really cool guy to have around the community. And he made some really good maps too.
Come back to us. Come back to us.
Lepidopia. I can't say that name right now. But Leppy did awesome stuff.
Yeah,
But
Leppy.
I also liked Aryan. I liked his maps too. You probably don't. He did like the concept was probably bad, but he literally made like authentic Tycho maps. Yet he made them playable in the standard game mode.
Oh, Taikosu maps.
Yeah.
So like the ones that like say Aquablue did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
actually
Arkin did them as well, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely remember those. And it's, was it Lepidopodus? Not that hard to drop.
Hmm? Yeah,
Lepidopodus.
Ah, Lepidopodus. That's as close as I'm getting. But
That's about right, so.
yeah. But anyways,
One more quick
guys,
question before we go to the user
alright.
questions. How do you feel about the change from in the Tackle World Cups from when you first started to now?
It's a little hard to really mention anything about that. I like that in the old World Cups you could have more teams. I feel like we should be able to have a bit more representation for like, say, different teams and whatnot. I also don't like some of the changes that were made about like, say, teams that were down a player not being able to play. Because I feel that if you should be able to have the match regardless, even if the odds are against you. I'm not really sure what the reason for that rule change was, but I'm not going to really question it, I guess. I guess I prefer the fact that there's individual registrations now, because it lets people that otherwise you wouldn't have known about kind of come in and be part of the teams that have been around for a long time, because if they are like good enough, they might get picked. So there's some things I like from both, like the older format, and some that I like from the newer format.
I personally think the best thing they did was still the double elimination.
Oh, I definitely agree. I really disliked having the single elimination because I felt teams that should have gotten farther didn't in a lot of cases. I also feel that like some really bad cases, like for example the Canada versus I believe it was Spain where we ended up getting disqualified because Kenny got the time wrong. That could have been prevented. We could have gotten a bit further in the tournament through the losers bracket, which would have been nice, but that was how it was ran back then. Double elimination is how it's run now, which is nice.
All right. Are we good to go for the community questions now?
Yep, but there's something howling at my window, so I'm gonna go quickly check out what that is.
Okie doke. Well, I'll go ahead and handle starting it up, guys. So if you guys have any questions here for Tasha, just let me know. I'll give you talk power if you want to speak your question to Tasha. And if you just want to type it out, go ahead and send that to me in a private message, and I will get to it ASAP. All right, let's see here. All right, so we have our first question here from JJ Fries, and I'm going to go ahead and give him talk power now. There you go. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Alright, so Tasha, I have a quick question. Do you have a girlfriend of any sort or any like engaged couple you're going out with or anything?
I have a boyfriend, but I don't usually talk about him much on OS. Just he's not even somebody that ends up playing OS. He's just somebody I've known for a very long time, and we're really good friends and companions. So yeah, I think I've known him since I was about 15 or 16, so it's been quite a while.
Have you ever, hit it yet, or like what's the deal with that?
That's not really something I'd like to answer on here, if that's okay.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, that's about it.
That was a very interesting question, but thank you for that nonetheless. Okay, and so if we have any other questions here, feel free to answer them. Gonna take a minute to regain the composure off that one, but yes. Anyways, if you have any questions, just
Okay.
give me a
I don't know
message
who
there.
asked that one, but I know JJ Fries had one.
Yeah, that was definitely JJ Fries, and yeah.
I look forward to hearing that one later.
Yeah,
Kinda
you'll
missed it.
definitely. Yeah, you'll definitely see that. But yeah, that's not a problem.
You guys can ask me anything, honestly. Just I can't guarantee I'll answer some questions.
Yeah, and that's fine. Onasaki Hito, if you don't want to speak, you're more than welcome to type your question out. That's not a problem. Okay. So Onasaki Hito asks, actually, from the very beginning, you've always had a dog/wolfie as an avatar. How come?
I've had that dog avatar since I've started because I'm a furry. Simple, plain and simple. It's basically my character.
Yes, don't you like change it every now and then depending on your mood or something like that? I seem to remember you saying something like that in the past.
I've gotten art of my character depending on my mood before, but as for my my avatar that I use in game, I just change it up every now and then because I occasionally get new headshot pictures and whatnot.
Sweet.
All right.
It's kind of cool having like your own customized avatar in a sense.
Yeah, I quite like it.
Closest thing I've had was the beard. I haven't used that one in a while. I probably should. I'll stick it on my Neo avatar. See what happens.
Oh, goodness. Anyways, though, Deadbeat, if you wouldn't mind taking the questions for just a moment, I have to go take care of a quick problem. As you guys can hear, my dog is in the background barking quite a bit, and I want to make sure that's a little bit fainter, so I'm going to go bring her in the house. So just get the next questions for the people, and
Okay.
the next one's actually typed out, so you could just speak that out.
I noticed. So, OK asks, what inspired your name?
Well, my original name on OS was actually Carter Freak, and that came from me playing a lot of Mario Kart Time Trials way back in the day. So that's where that name came from. My current name is actually the name I use for my avatar, my character. So that is why I have that name.
Any specific reason as to why Tasha? Like, what brought that one on? Just random?
I just liked the name. Like, I looked through a list of names because I was trying to like figure out a name I wanted for my character, and I ended up having this name.
Nice and simple enough, I guess.
Yep, nothing too complicated. I just like the name.
So as you can start, and I think he's also asking like, because the question was what inspired your name and furries, but I'm not sure what the second part means.
Well, I guess because I mentioned that I am furry. Yeah, I'm a furry. I'm not into any like the more, you know, 18 plus side of it. I just I like the
Extreme
artwork stuff. Yeah, that's not for me. I just like seeing the artwork. I like anthropomorphic animals and like caricatures and stuff like that. So the artwork is just interesting to me. It's like I don't know if you've ever seen like Dust in Elysian Tale or like
oh, that was a great game.
Or The Blind Forest. Just I like kind of like anthropomorphic viewings of characters like that. I like that kind of art. It's really cool to me.
Yes, no, I actually remember playing Dust a while back. That was a really good game. I actually quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. I actually still need to finish it. I've been jumping through so many different games in my backlog that it's just kind of sitting there right now.
I think the only thing I didn't do was 4-star or the challenge arenas. I think that was the only thing I hadn't actually done. There's something else I was going to quickly ask. Oh yes, totally random, but did you ever read a book series called Animorphs?
I did read a book series called Animorphs, and it was great for the time. I even ended up watching the TV series, if I remember correctly, too, which was pretty good, too.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch the TV series, but I definitely remember reading a lot of the books, and it was really kind of cool. It was very interesting concept.
Even before that, though, just a blast of the past for anyone that might have been around for this, I actually used to watch Beasties as well, along with like Reboot and whatnot. So those were kind of shows I ended up seeing as well when I was younger.
Oh, my childhood. Oh, so good.
I don't recognize any of those names.
What? You don't? Whoa! You've never seen Reboot?
Well, you gotta remember, I live like in a completely different continent than you guys, so I live somewhere completely different. So the shows we probably watched were different.
Yeah, true, but you need to go watch Reboot.
Like when I was a little kid, I was watching stuff like Teletubbies and Rugrats.
Well, I mean, have you seen Rugrats? Well, Reboot was the first CG animated cartoon show.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, it was definitely different. It gave off this super weird vibe, but it was an awesome vibe. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of anything like Magoozy, but it was this weird Toonami little weird thing that they kind of did. It was kind of like a Toonami thing for Cartoon Network that they did. But the art style that they used in that and the weird 3D cell shading that they had kind of reminded me of Reboot. But
I so miss Toonami. I really do.
I mean, well, they've got it back. It's on Adult Swim now, but
always for you guys.
Yeah. Anyways, though, so we kind of got to move over to another question. We have another written question here, and this is. Wait, did you get to the one where they asked? Did you see question 2 from JJ Fries? This one.
No, we were still on the what inspired your name and fairies.
Okay. What does your family think about you playing us?
I don't think my family has any problem with me playing any rhythm games because I've played them for so long. But I guess the one thing that they could say is slightly annoying about it is just the clicking, especially in the late times of night. Because if you're playing like at 2 in the morning or something like that, or early in the morning, it can be a little annoying at times. So I've kind of cut back on the playing during those hours, being a bit more respectful.
So, are you using a mechanical keyboard or something?
Yeah, I use black mechanical keyboards.
That would explain it.
Yeah, black switches are they're pretty good for typing. I wouldn't say they're as good for playing rhythm game with, but they work for me.
So I kind of have a question to kind of bundle into that, and I know I've already asked quite a few questions, but this one interested me. So what does your family feel about the whole commentating thing and everything that's been going on here recently with the Taiko World Cup and stuff?
Kind of the same thing. It's not as bad for that particular case because they know it's only like a once in a while thing. So it's they tolerate it. I don't really know how else to say it.
This isn't actually the first time you've done commentating, isn't it? Because I think you've done commentating for some of the past World Cups as well.
Like I said, I did do a little bit of commentating for the previous 2 World Cups. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was just enough to kind of, get my feet wet with it, try it a little bit with the game, see if I liked it, and I ended up liking commentating, so I'm doing it now.
You've done a good job of it too, if I may say so.
Well, thanks.
It definitely does help having someone who's very familiar with the game mode.
No, I guess it's pretty good that I can give an analytical approach to a lot of the games too.
There's only so much hype that Deidre and I can bring.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I bring all the hype. I'm awesome. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, though, we have a few other questions here, but I like to see a couple people more ask on the different side of questions here, because JJ's just hitting you with like a plethora here. They do want to speak one more question. I'm just going to ask in base of warning here, please make sure it's a little bit more on the appropriate side this time, and we'll go ahead and give you talk power. There you go. And AFK? AFK. Okay.
I think you're reading the wrong person's lines.
Was I possibly?
Yeah, I think you're looking at okay.
Yeah, you're looking at the wrong person's line there.
Well, no, it says question number 3, speak it even though I sound gross. XD is the one I read.
Oh, well then.
It doesn't sound like a question.
Okay, yeah.
Well, apparently they're back. So.
Oh, no, they're back. Okay, so, hold on. There you go.
Alright, this is a community question for all 3 of you guys. Z-Trap, Deadbeat, and Tasha, my bad. What are the weirdest beat maps you've ever worked on?
Oh. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and let Tasha and Deadbeat answer first, and then I'll come up with mine, because it's probably going to get cut, but I'll go ahead and answer it anyways.
I actually don't have an answer to this, because I've mostly done Nekomata Master stuff. I guess the weirdest, or at least like in terms of style that's being done for maps on OS, was a map called Blazing. I don't think I've ever really done any weird maps before. I mean, I guess you could say like a pony map for Z-Trot or something like that, if like that's not your thing, but I mean, to me that's just not that weird, so it doesn't really bother me.
Like, what sort of like weird are we talking here?
Like, by weird, like most of the, I don't know, like America wouldn't really view it that well. Like people like outside of the community would view it.
I think that about sums up 90% of ranked beat maps.
Well, unless people don't like Nekomata Master, I can't really say much, so...
I did say 90.
Yeah, it's like, that's the only weird one for me, I guess, is just the pony ones and Blazing. Just because they're not usual music styles, though I have no problem with the pony stuff, like I said, so... I guess by community standards, that would be the weirdest ones.
Now, I'm going to get into something a little bit on the different side, because there's been...
I know what he's going to say, it's hilarious.
Quite a few maps. You think you know what I'm going to say.
Probably.
Obviously, you're going to think that I'm going to refer to the Ready to Die map that had the video with the really graphic stuff in it, but no. That's not the weirdest map I've ever done. The weirdest map I've ever done was so bad it got deleted from the servers way back in like 2010. It managed to stay uploaded for a whole day, and that's all it got. That's the only time it was, and it was a music video to Pom Pom Pom. Pom 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 Pom. It was a song by I Outskata, I think, or something like that. And literally, this song had synchronized tit bounces to every pom pom pom, and it had about like maybe 50 or 60 different animes in it, and there were just boobies bouncing everywhere. And
you know what the sad thing is?
You
You describing that reminds me of caramel dancing.
Well, it's kind of like Caramel Dancing, except way, 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 way worse. And it's way, 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 way worse than Me Me Me. Trust me. You could probably find it on YouTube as a mat or something. But I managed to find the uncensored version of it, and I thought, hey, this will be a good idea to put up on it as a map. It wasn't. It got removed almost instantaneously. So it was pretty bad.
Yeah, good call there.
Yeah. Yeah, like, because the censored version was pretty okay, and then the uncensored version, well, let's just say, yeah, I shouldn't have uploaded that. But that's probably the weirdest thing I worked on.
There's also the Vocaloid map you did.
Which one? Oh, Happy Fruit?
No, the other one.
Oh, I can
The
take
other
off my
one.
panties?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not even that bad. Happy Fruit's way worse, and the video's still up for that one.
See, trust Lolly Pencil.
Like,
No lie, I think that was like one of the first maps I ever actually played on Oz, and that's like, so I have to explain that to people every time.
yeah, but no, I definitely messed with quite a weird. I definitely messed with quite a few weird maps there.
Oh yeah.
That I'm not exactly super proud of anymore, but you know, stuff happens. But anyways, thank you for that question there, and if no one else has got any, I'm sorry, Helena, what was your question there? I will get that. I apologize for missing that. Normally I ask
Where city do you live in, and do you like poutine?
City I live in is Trenton in Ontario. Kind of close to like a military air base. Do I like poutine? I love poutine. I also I really like breakfast tins, which are really good too. If anyone's ever had those before.
Well,
Let me just describe it to you. It's like it's basically like you know breakfast potatoes with like say like green pepper with an omelet over top of the breakfast potatoes with hollandaise sauce and a bunch of other really good stuff.
Oh, that actually
hungry.
sounds pretty good.
All
Okay.
this talk about food just make me hungry.
And
Do you
then,
like macaroons?
Yeah, do you like macaroons?
I don't remember having them. I might
like
have had them before,
macaroons.
but
They're pretty good.
I'd have to try to be able to answer that.
Get this man a macaroon. Anyways, thank you so much for the questions there. If you guys don't mind, seeing as we've got this pretty wrapped up here, unless there's any more questions, we're going to go ahead and close this out.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for coming out, and thank you, Tasha, for taking a little bit of time out of your day to come and speak with us about your experiences with the game. Remember, guys, these kind of have been going up a little bit slower than usual, and we do apologize for them being backlogged a little bit. The Luna one will be up soon. I'm probably going to actually cut this part because it's not going to make any sense because the Luna one's going to be out by the time this one comes out. But anywho, thank you guys so much, and remember, Rhythm's only a click away, and we'll see y'all real soon.
I feel like I wanted to end with something, but I can't remember what.
Canada
Oh, well.
for TWC.
Okay, bye. Sure. Oh, I decided to do something.